This video was made prior to Joe Biden's call with Mohammed bin Salman and before the U.S. intelligence was able to conclude that MBS was in fact behind the killing of Jamal Khashoggi, and all events are prior to Monday, February 22nd, 2021.
While it looks as if this 35-year-old is the average Saudi, he most definitely is not. In fact, he is the Deputy Prime Minister, Minister of Defense, and heir to the Saudi Arabian throne, and the owner of a $600 million yacht. Here is a story of Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman's rise to power, and what he's done with it.
Welcome back to our monthly serial, History 102. My name is Gabriel Lawrence Cunningham. You're watching HSNPC.
Hello everyone, my name is Jamal Silverstein. Mohammed bin Salman spearheaded the changing of traditional Saudi Arabian culture, ranging from economic reforms in the oil industry to gender reforms, which are historic for the country, to condemning Islamic radical terrorist groups in the Middle East. However, Salman has arrested hundreds of people on corruption charges as well as suspicious actions. Although he is an imperfect ruler, he cares deeply about his country and his goal of modernizing Saudi Arabia as well as giving it immense prosperity is going very, very well.
Mohammed bin Salman Al Saud was born on August 31st, 1985. He was born to now King Salman bin Abdulaziz and Fada bint Fala bin Sultan bin Athleen. Salman graduated from King Saud University of Saudi Arabia with a bachelor's degree in law. On January 23, 2015, Mohammed's father, Salman bin Abdulaziz, became King of Saudi Arabia. After disqualifying his brothers, who under Saudi law were heir apparent, Salman set Mohammed bin Nayef as crown prince. However, on June 21, 2017, bin Abdulaziz relieved bin Nayef of all his duties and positions and appointed his son Mohammed bin Salman as the new crown prince. We'll be going to Henry Taylor for a story early in MBS's reign.
Thank you, Gabriel. After only having been in office for 6 months, starting in November of 2017, MBS ordered his anti-corruption force to detain around 400 people in Saudi Arabia. Among those detained were businessmen and ministers, including 5 high-ranking ministers of the Interior and many other apparently corrupt government officials. The detainees stated that they had been tortured during their imprisonment. The crackdown went on for 15 months until the end of January 2019. Many of these people were accused of money laundering, and they were locked up for this very reason. Supporters of the Crown Prince said that the purge was a way of rooting out corrupt Saudi elites, while those against him said that the purge was a result of paranoia and that he was simply doing away with those he thought could possibly be a threat to his power. While having people locked in a hotel is not exactly the best political move, Mohammed bin Salman did it anyways because he felt it was in the best interest of the country to have these corrupt people locked away. But we here at HSNPC have reliable sources confirming that not all of those claims of corruption are true. Back to you, Jamal. Vision 2030 is a wide-ranging economic reform plan introduced by bin Salman in 2016. Its goals include reducing subsidies, reforming industries such as defense and tourism, and opening Saudi Aramco, Saudi Arabia's largest oil company and the 7th largest company in the world, to investors. The vision also promises several advances in religion, including increasing the number of visitors to the Umrah from 8 million to 30 million annually. Saudi Arabia also plans on establishing the largest museum of Islam in the world, although this has been viewed as a boost to tourism. Vision 2030 will also diversify the economy. Right now, the oil that Saudi Arabia drills accounts for roughly 87% of Saudi budget revenues, 42% of the total GDP, and a whopping 90% of export earnings. Bin Salman hopes to IPO Saudi Aramco, and in the process privatize the state-owned Aramco. For those of you who don't know, an IPO is when a company does its initial offering of stocks when the company goes public. The government will also provide financial assistance to small/medium enterprises, SMEs, with the goal of raising the total GDP from the SMEs to 35% from only 20. The goal is to make Saudi Arabia less dependent on its oil reserves, of course. The final goal for Vision 2030 is fixing Saudi Arabia's government strategy. As of now, MBS has established the King Salman Program for Human Capital Development, which will train upwards of 500,000 government workers and officers by the end of 2020, which has already occurred, in the best practices. And he has also established human resource centers in every single government agency. With all of those goals, Vision 2030 seems like a pretty good idea. Cut.
While MBS is working to strengthen Saudi Arabia's economy, the Saudi royal family has a massive fortune and they are not afraid to flaunt it. The entire family has a total of an estimated 1.4 trillion, which is quite a bit, even divided among 15,000 people, leaving each with over 93.3 million on average. It is rumored that their lavish palaces are filled with ordinary household items, or at least they are ordinary, until the fact that they all, down to the tissue dispensers, are made out of solid gold. MBS himself has used his money to buy a $300 million chateau, a $450 million Leonardo da Vinci painting, and a yacht for 500 million euros, the US dollar equivalent of 600 million. In short, while MBS is working tirelessly to strengthen his country's economy, he has plenty of money and has no fear of spending mass amounts of it. Back to you, Gabriel.
One thing Mohammed bin Salman has been staunch about is his position in women's rights. He has always believed that in Saudi Arabia, men and women are equal. He has been quoted saying, "I support Saudi Arabia, and half of Saudi Arabia is women, so I support women. In the Saudi government, women are paid exactly like men. We don't want to divide treatment for different people." He brought about the issuing of driver's licenses to women, which is a monumental breakthrough with many reparations. With driver's licenses, women can go to work now, which will lead to more acceptance at home and in public. Crown Prince Mohammed also introduced the Women in the Workplace Act, which is a women's rights initiative that made many more things that were prior only available to men, now available to women also. Some examples are: women can apply for a passport and travel without a male guardian. Women are now considered legal adults, and women can apply for birth or death certificates. These rights were men only before Bin Salman's changes. Back to you, Jamal.
Good afternoon, everyone.
My name is Stephen Oxford. Today I'm going to be talking to you about MBS's foreign affairs. On October 2nd, 2018, a Saudi journalist, Jamal Khashoggi, who worked for the Washington Post, was killed under seemingly mysterious circumstances in Istanbul, Turkey. At first, there didn't seem to be any real motive for this on MBS's end, as Khashoggi only went to the consulate to pick up his marriage papers. What is clear is that 15 Saudi agents flew in a government plane to Turkey and went to the Saudi consulate in Istanbul, where Khashoggi was, and there he was killed. MBS claimed that he had no part in this matter at all. However, as time went on, more details became clear. While on call with the American ambassador to Saudi Arabia, MBS's brother Khalid bin Salman revealed that he told Khashoggi that he would be safe if he were to travel to the consulate in Turkey. Upon learning this, the CIA decided to launch an investigation. The CIA was able to conclude that despite his claims, MBS likely had an involvement in this, and they were able to assume his brother was likely acting on MBS's orders. Furthermore, MBS deals with almost everything that happens in his country, no matter how important it is. It is not that far out of reach to claim that he did have a hand in this too. However, there has been no direct evidence that MBS was involved in this at all, just implications that the CIA has made. A final negative aspect of MBS's reign that we will be discussing today is his involvement in the Yemeni civil war. The conflict in Yemen has for a long time been a disastrous one, with Iran-backed rebels called the Houthis trying to overthrow the Yemeni government. MBS has been opposing the rebels with many airstrikes from Saudi Arabia, which MBS has come under extreme critique for. However, there have been civilian lives at risk. In early February 2020, there was an airstrike in northern Yemen that killed 31 and injured 12 civilians. To conclude, while he is fighting on the front lines against terrorism and an advocate for peace in the Middle East, Some of his methods may put people at risk, which takes away from what he's doing, but is somewhat inevitable while fighting terrorists.
A major positive aspect of his foreign policy is his support for the state of Israel. He has stated on multiple occasions that Israel has a right to their land and that Saudi Arabia and other Arab states have overlapping security and economical interests, one of which is disdain against Iran, who have been building a nuclear arsenal, reportedly. Saudi Arabia helped broker the normalization between Israel and the UAE, Sudan, and Bahrain. Another sign of Mohammed bin Salman being pro-Israel is that 4 months ago, Saudi Arabia agreed to let flights to and from Israel to use their airspace, which is important because of Saudi Arabia's large territory in the Middle East. Bin Salman has also condemned Islamic terrorism on multiple occasions. And as I said before, he is fighting the Yemen Houthis.
Yes, hold your cameras. Yes, we will take questions shortly, but first, our press team has a statement for the media. Jamal?
So to conclude, Mohammed bin Salman, Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, has overall been a successful ruler of his country with big plans to improve his country economically and socially, and with the intention of peace in the Middle East. Even though he has allegedly done a few questionable things, he cares about his country deeply and wants Saudi Arabia to succeed, and the good things he has done far outweighs the bad.
I predict that in the future, MBS's attempts to improve the country and bring peace to its region will be successful, and Saudi Arabia will stay a major economic power, even if it has used up its oil reserves. From there, I do not know, but I predict they will have a successful rise to the top. Thank you for listening to our presentation, and have a good evening. We will now take questions. Arnold.
Lights, camera, action.
This is part of your
I said don't do the Jamal thing.
Thank you, Gabriel and Jamal. After only having been in office, dang it.
What?
Thank you, Gabriel and
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Stephen. Iran. Wait, I'm at the beginning of the segment. We're just gonna cut this out, okay?
All right, fine, go. Thank you for that informative report. And from HSMPC, I'm Gabriel Lawrence Cunningham. Up next, the weather report with James Reynolds.